Hi, welcome. I am Heather Kelly. I am a business consultant with the Illinois Small Business Development Center at Rockford Chamber, otherwise known as Rockford SBDC. The Rockford SBDC provides no-cost guidance and training to small businesses in Winnebago, Boone, Ogle, and Stevenson counties in Illinois in the areas of marketing, accounting, business planning, and IT. And so with that, I will introduce Shelby Flores. Shelby is also a business consultant with Rockford SBDC, and she's going to start you off on our presentation. Take it away, Shelby.
Perfect. Oh, it's not allowing me to. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. So, part of what the SBDC does is help build a business plan. This is incredibly important, especially when you are obtaining financing for your food truck businesses. Every business plan has several major elements. This slide will cover a business description, products and services, market and customer segments, and competitors and market players in the industry. A business description is essentially a summary of what your food truck does, what you sell, what kind of food you are giving to consumers. Some things to highlight in this section is, history of your food truck or the mission and purpose of your food truck, potential vision that you have for it, or values and beliefs that you have. Typically what I see with food trucks is, family recipes that have been passed down, or a lot of it is more so cultural. So this is really your ability to explain why you would like to start this food truck and what it means to you. Products and services is pretty self-explanatory. The products is the type of food that you'll plan to sell for your food truck. And then market and customer segment is, it's a group of customers sharing similar characteristics in terms of interest, locations, and more. The four most common are demographic, psychographic, behavioral, and geographic. I think geographic is, the one that we are highlighting the most, simply because we are focusing in the Winnebago County. And then our last one is for competitors and market players. So it's other businesses who offer the same or similar goods, anyone within the food truck industry. It's very important for us to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of your competition. Very recently, the food truck industry is very popular, especially in the Rockford area. So knowing who you're up against is important. Next is organization and management of your food truck. Who is working for you? Do you have part-time employees, full-time employees? Who's in charge of the cooking? Who's in charge of the advertising? Who's in charge of, selling? So it more so describes the organization and the key members of your food truck. Financial projections and metrics is arguably one of the most important ones. So it includes a projected sales forecast, a profit and loss, your cash flow projections, and your balance sheet. These are basic documentation that every bank is going to require. Obviously, a food truck is a big investment. And so understanding your projections, especially your first 3 to 6 months worth of fixed expenses is important, and then as well as your projections for the first 3 years. In your financial projections, you want to highlight the amount needed to successfully launch your food truck. And you're basically just providing an overview of how the funding that you are asking for is going to be used in your day-to-day operations and in the truck itself. And then the last portion of a business plan is going to highlight, additional information that highlights specific elements of your truck, anything that provides business credibility or the success of your truck. In this section, some people will often include pictures of the truck that they are most interested, or their menu and what they plan to sell. So this gives you a little bit more ability to just provide any backup information that a banker, lender, or grantor may be interested in. Now I'm going to allow Heather to kind of expand on identifying a selling location.
Thanks, Shelby. As Shelby mentioned, in part of the business plan, you're looking, when you're identifying a selling location, you really want to go through the steps specifically that she mentioned of the market segment. And we are definitely talking about geography here. Take a look at where realistically where you want to be. What territory can you realistically cover? Taking into account all of your expenses, any employees that you have. So all of those factors will play into your selling location. And also your competitors. Where are your competitors? This is where you need to take the time to take a look at, even if it's driving around town, asking people, doing that sort of research. Where are you seeing food trucks? You can post it on social media and, have people tag you, where they are and who they're seeing. What food trucks are they seeing? Another consideration is, what product are you offering? What differentiates you from the food trucks, say at Mississippi Gardens every Tuesday? And that is also a good place to do your market research. Why not walk around, talk to people, and figure out what they like and why they come and attend. That's a really high visibility area. Other considerations: is the space large enough? Is the food truck you're looking at large enough? And I will add that, prior to purchasing a food truck, it's imperative that you go through this business plan with us, with Shelby. Is there enough foot traffic? The example I gave was Mississippi Gardens on Tuesdays. High foot traffic. And that's a great place to be if you have a food truck. But also consider places around town that may be underserved, that you could really own that market. And think about, the types of clients that you want to serve. What types is your food going to appeal to these types of clients? Do you want to be in the downtown area when, people are out walking about downtown during the week and they're looking for a food truck? A lot of people like to walk on the bike path. So things like that, being where people are, lots of foot traffic with that too, bike paths and things like that. And so options to consider, as I mentioned, food truck parks. There are lots around here, the biggest one being Mississippi. Farmers markets. There is, of course, City Market in Rockford and North End Market, and also Beloit, although I don't know that you want to get into another state, but that's also an option for your food truck business. Different business districts like 7th Street District, downtown, gas stations. A lot of times you'll see food trucks at, gas stations, highly traveled places. I've seen them at Forest Plaza on East State Street. There seem to be a couple that have semi-permanent locations there. So think creatively about owners that you could approach to be in their parking lots. That's another high traffic area. Festivals and special events that are going on around town. There's a lot of them in Rockford, Anderson Gardens, Mississippi Park, the band shell, lots of places like that. And of course, as I mentioned, different plazas. And we'll go over a little bit how to be better than or different from your competition. As I mentioned earlier, you really want to figure out what your product is going to be, and is it something that's going to match with your budget? How easy is it to create? Do you need a commissary beforehand? All those considerations. And this is where it's important to take time to do a little research. Attend some of these festivals before you decide, and really figure out what people are looking for. look around at the food trucks. Is there something missing? Is there a niche that can be filled? And because you don't want to be selling, tacos when everybody else is selling tacos. I know it's very popular right now. But that's the temptation. And there are definitely, I think, some needs that could be filled there. And do you want to create a unique buyer's experience? It's a little bit difficult when you have a huge line going for a food truck, but really pay attention to what other people are doing. Sometimes people play music that really speaks to their brand. If they've got a vintage looking food truck, then they may have some vintage music playing, that sort of thing. And then of course you want to pay attention to pricing. What are people charging for their products and services versus what you might charge for your products and services? And again, that also goes back to your budget and your expenses. So taking a look at all of these factors is really important and key, and really goes back to establishing a good, solid business plan before you move forward.
I also quickly just want to add that in terms of customer relations with food trucks, I think developing a relationship, or kind of, noticing your regular customers, taking their feedback into consideration, is all very important. That's that extra value that people see. As Heather mentioned, there's tons of food trucks in the Forest Plaza, but there's one specifically who every time I've gone, he greets me by name. He knows exactly what my order is. And, that relationship is kind of what keeps me going back. And he's, not selling anything different. He's selling tacos actually, but I will always go to his taco truck as opposed to the competitors, because he's taken the time to develop a relationship with me personally. And so customer relations is very huge, and ultimately what can kind of set you apart from everyone else in the market as well. Now, in terms of how to apply as a business, it obviously can vary from state to state, even city to city. But typically this list can, get you to where you need to be to operate. And so you obviously need a business license, a employee identification number, and then you'll have to work with the health department and the building department, as well as get approval from the fire department and the local sanitary district to ensure that your truck is in order and meets all of the requirements. And then the employee health permit is more so, again, kind of with the health department, as well as zoning and parking will kind of fall under building too. So some of these are kind of hand in hand, but they give you a general idea of what you need in order to be fully functional. And then you can obtain a business license online, by mail, or in person. And I've actually listed off a few links that would be beneficial for people to have to apply and obtain those necessary, licenses, registration, permits. So this quick little list will allow you to go to these websites and either do your research or apply online. And lastly, this is our team, Heather and myself, obviously, but we also have a wonderful group of men that backs the SBDC. As you can see, we, cover all of our bases, and Heather mentioned this earlier, but we do business planning, HR management, digital marketing, financial analysis and access to capital, as well as cybersecurity and emergency technologies. So in terms of business segments, we do have you covered at the SBDC. And with food trucks specifically, again, they're very popular. So we have worked with several, and we have a team that is eager to help.
Thank you.
Oh.
And if you would like to contact us, we are at rockfordsbdc.org or 815-316-4301. Thank you.
Thank you